Hey guys, how's it going? Kripparrian here. Today I want to give you guys a video about Path of Exile 2. That's right. So there are some really big announcements that came out a few days back. I didn't really want to do like a reactionary video because that's, in my opinion, it's kind of like a zero content video. I kind of wanted to wait for the patch notes, which are coming in like a week and a half. Bit delayed, but they said they needed time to do a bunch of testing. Fair enough. Now, I did go into the new Ascendancy, the Spirit Walker, which has like the beasts and all that kind of stuff, and the it's basically a minion hybrid potentially with some weapon-based stuff, and I think it's really cool. I did a little bit of a deep dive on stream that I highlighted a lot of the things that I've learned, so I wanted to kind of bring that to YouTube so you guys can see it on your own time, a little bit edited. There is going to be a lot more Path of Exile 2 content coming from me. It's just, again, I kind of need a little bit more concrete stuff. The only reason why I'm even making this video is because I think I've kind of narrowed down what could happen with this Ascendancy in terms of viability, but on the horizon, watch out for more PoE2 Kripp videos coming up. We also have a project to announce in partnership with Mobilytics. Coming soon, TM. Probably that will be around the time we do see patch notes. We are going to do some pretty cool stuff this PoE League, and I am pretty excited to play, of course. For now, I hope you guys enjoy some of my thoughts on the new Ascendancy. Enjoy. So we're going to play Spirit Walker, which is a ranger. And Spirit Walker, they showcase some of the skills. The idea is you can get like some buffs to weapons and stuff and some companion stuff. And they're not bad. They're not bad. The Vivid Stampede, actually not too bad. Basically, you like walk a little bit and it recharges, is my understanding. Or do I have that backwards with the Wisp? I don't remember. Anyway, every now and then you can do the Stampede, which does attack-based weapon damage. It's not too bad, basically. It's not too bad. And then you can like summon a bear spirit companion. So it's a companion, it's persistent. And skills that give you minions that are part of your Ascendancy, you cannot unsummon them. So this is the same for the Hellhound on Witch. So you cannot use Infernal Legion with this minion. Well, you can. It'll just die, because when you weapon swap, it won't go away. You cannot make it go away. But the Bear Spirit does not count towards your companion limit. So you could use this companion, and you could also use another companion. That's the idea here. There's another notable. Companions deal additional attack damage equal to 60% of your main hand weapon damage. This is good. This is pretty good. But there's a few issues with using this. I'll explain soon. Wisp don't really matter. Tame Beast can capture unique beasts. Can have up to one unique Tame Beast summoned. Unique Tame Beasts have 30% increased movement speed. Tame Beasts are possessed by random as merry spirits, changing every 20 seconds. Very nice. The bosses seem to have normal-ish attack damage and defense values, if we go by the values on DB2. But they might have like hidden powers, and there are things that you can do to put affixes on bosses. So there's going to be like an ultimate hunt for the ultimate boss with the perfect affixes, which should be pretty cool. Oh, they removed the possessed spirit part. Rip in peace. And the Idolatry. Companions deal 10% increased damage per idol in your equipment. 2% increased reservation efficiency of skills per idol in your equipment. Again, not too bad. So, do I think this Ascendancy is good? Not really. I don't think it's very good. There is a new Scepter, which allows you to use as many companions as you want, rather than one. So with that, you can use Tame Beast and have like one boss and like several other non-boss with the Tame Beast gem. And that is pretty cool. They highlighted a build that used that in their reveal video. However, that Scepter is very bad. It is a very bad item. Like the stats on it are bad. Straight bad. So there is a theory there, because there's a new system where you can take certain unique powers and make them into runes, which you socket into your gear. There's a theory, which my opinion is totally speculative, where you can get the power from that scepter into a rune, put that in your gear, and then not have to use the garbage scepter and get lots of companions. If that theory checks out, that should be pretty good. That should be pretty good. That should be a pretty good build. There is also a little gem here that we have used a couple of seasons now, called Infernal Legion. So minions from supported skills take damage, so they lose life. And minions from supported skills ignite enemies within a radius, dealing base fire damage equal to their health. So this has been the strongest minion build in the game for 2 seasons now. And bosses have quite a lot of health. They might not be the highest health minions in the game, but because this ascendancy focuses on companion synergies, you might be able to bridge or exceed that gap between the highest health specters and the highest health boss companions. So possibly, if they don't kill this gem and the weapon swap playstyle, because you would have the companion on one weapon slot and not on the other, so you'd weapon swap constantly, teleporting the minion with you, and it would basically move the aura with your character. That's how you'd play the build. And when you would weapon swap, it would heal the minion as well, so you don't have to worry about the recovery aspect of not getting it killed. The reason I'm mentioning this is because, again, you cannot unsummon the Wild Protector. The Bear Spirit, you cannot do that, which means you cannot use Infernal Legion on the Bear Protector, so you have to use it on another one. The Bear Protector might have the highest life in the game, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can't use Infernal Legion on it reliably, because you can't teleport it, it will die. Even if you find a way to not let it die, you can't teleport it. It's dead. You cannot use this gem on this thing. Okay, so just bear that in mind. So, how do you play Spirit Walker? How do you play Spirit Walker? Okay, so there's one other factor, that this node is insane. Your minions are gigantic, which gives them a damage and life multiplier. And I would like to point your attention to the distance required in getting to that node. It is distant. It is very distant, okay? In my opinion, there are too many good minion nodes in this part of the tree to ignore. But it's distant. So I don't know the exact best build. If they do not nerf Infernal Legion, which would be crazy, I would be shocked if they do not nerf Infernal Legion. I would be shocked. But if they do not nerf Infernal Legion, your skill tree will look like this. And you will probably get Lord of the Wilds, though you don't have to, which allows you to use a Talisman and a Scepter in the offhand. Okay. And Gigantic is really good. You get a lot of minion stuff here. You get a lot of minion stuff here. You could also not get this and go like energy shield stuff. There's still a lot of points. This is only like 50 points. So you could still get some of the companion stuff here and stuff like that. Alright. But yeah, that is kind of wonky. For sure. Basically, the minion nodes here are way too good. You cannot ignore them. The build where we don't go Infernal Legion, if in fact the beasts just hit really hard, and we actually want to use them for their attack potential, like they do in their preview, it's still this build. And you definitely get Lord of the Wilds. And there are certain builds that utilized a skill called Pounce. And Pounce gives you little wolves that are temporary minions, okay, but their duration is infinite. And you basically build them up, and Pounce gives you 60 more damage to the target. The issue with Pounce is it is a shapeshift skill, so you get these minions that are really powerful. But because it's a shapeshift skill, if you get out of shapeshift, you will lose the wolves. Second part of that, if you stay in shapeshift, you cannot cast skills that are not shapeshift skills, which is relevant because all curses are not shapeshift skills, which means that if you play with Pounce, you have to play a physical build, which is fine. And then if you do that, you definitely use a talisman. You get the node that gives you 60% of main hand weapon damage applies to your minions. That is absolutely absurd, because you can get talismans that do over 1,000 damage, and 600 base damage to your minions is absolutely insane. Okay, that is absolutely insane. Now, that is only your companions. It does not apply to your Pounce dogs, but it should still be absolutely insane. The main problem with that is Pounce is currently the most broken skill in the game right now in Path of Exile 2, so the chance they nerf it into the ground is also extremely high. Extremely high. So this might just be a complete garbage skill next season, and that will not be good. Didn't Tactician have something last league? Yes, but Tactician didn't have massive hordes of companions on top. Okay, there's a few caveats here. So if you do this version with the Pounce, you probably want to focus on minion nodes, because the Pounce dogs do a lot of damage, and they are not companions, but companions are minions, which means you get like a bunch of the minion garbage. It also might mean that you do the rage stuff. I forget where it is, but there's like rage nodes here where your minions get rage from you. And then like, I think it's like here. Yeah. Every rage grants you 1% minion damage. Every rage grants you 1% minion attack speed. So you basically are going to be like a wolf or wolf/bear ranger that is empowering your dog army with companions. And again, you really want the gigantic, because the gigantic applies to temporary minions, and it applies to your companions. And the reduced reservation efficiency doesn't matter, because the wolves don't reserve anything. Your companion from your ascendancy doesn't reserve anything. And the tame beast reserves a percentage of your spirit pool. And even though your spirit pool gets halved, it's still a percent of that. So it actually doesn't change. So no problem. No problem there. You can just use those pretty easy. Now, if we are able to use the Scepter, I mean, I think the Scepter, using it straight out is a bad idea. But if we're able to put it into a rune and put that on our character, there will be a build where you actually use many tame beasts, and you can still get this node, okay? Because even though you have half spirit, all of your summons will be companions, which are tame beasts, which are percent based. And then you want to reduce how much the percent is with reservation efficiency. One more thing I want to mention is in their preview, they showcased a build where they had skeletal clerics to keep their minions alive. Absolute bait. They don't know what they're doing. Do not use skeleton clerics on this ascendancy. All right. A few things that I kind of want to mention that I think are very important. So there are, just highlight them here. There are a lot of companion nodes that are actually very strong. There's like a cull one, there's these. These are particularly strong, like increased reservation efficiency for companion skills. Life recovery, I don't really like that one. Increases and reductions to companion damage also apply to you, pretty cool. But there's a lot of them that are these ones. So increased defenses while your companion is in your presence. So increased defenses is really strong because that is energy shield, as well as armor, as well as evasion. As well as, no, that's it. Those are just 3. Okay. However, your companion being in your presence, that's bait. That's bait too. Okay. Now, there is an exception, and ward, that's right. There is an exception, and the exception has to do with the Infernal Legion. So if we... Thanks, Matt. If we are going to play Infernal Legion, which I think will absolutely be nerfed into the ground. But if it's not, I don't know. I don't have early access. I have just as much information as you guys do. If it's not, Infernal Legion is definitely playable with this affix, and this affix is extremely strong. Because you can stack multitudes of defenses, and these are, on top of that, also minion nodes. So these nodes are completely cracked, but only if you can play Infernal Legion. They also said they're going to add and change companion nodes. So they're probably... Like, I doubt they're going to... Like, these nodes are pretty good already. Like, people that play companions, they get these nodes sometimes. These nodes are not bad. I think they might add a few, but I don't think they're going to change the existing ones that much, okay? So if you play Infernal Legion, you can get most of these. You can focus on the defense. And if we do that, one combination of defenses that is very strong is evasion plus energy shield. Because if you evade an attack, you don't take damage, so it gives your energy shield a chance to recuperate. And you can also use Ghost Dance. Now, if you use Ghost Dance, you will definitely not get Lord of the Wilds, because that is a non-minion skill. And Ghost Dance gives you energy shield back based on your total evasion when you get hit. But because your evasion, you don't get hit very much, so it's incredibly strong. So if they don't nerf Infernal Legion, you can get these type of nodes, play Infernal Legion, stack minion health, and stack energy shield and evasion. And then if you do that, you will still go to Gigantic Following. But you won't do it that way. You would do it this way. Like that. And the reason you do that is because you go through the monk area, which has a lot of nodes that buff both evasion and energy shield. Ghost Dance is getting nerfed, but it's so unbelievably broken that if they nerf it, it's still going to be really good. Like, yeah, it's still going to... And, like, this type of character would be the best use case for Ghost Dance. So even if they nerf it, it's still going to be really strong. I'm not worried about them nerfing that. So that's what's on the table with this Ascendancy. If you want to play a strong minion build that's guaranteed to be good, you probably still want to go like Infernalist, to be honest. The main issue with the Spirit Walker is that this part of the skill tree is extremely bad. And it's not just bad for minion nodes. Sure, they might add a bunch of companion nodes. And maybe you just go gigantic with like the amulet anoint. I don't know. But then if you do that, it's still not that good. Because if you stay in this area, your only defense is evasion. Life and evasion isn't terrible, but it relies on you getting your life back with leech. And that is also going to be a challenge. Like, if you do end up doing some kind of like combo of the character does the damage and the companion does the damage, it would probably still end up being a talisman build. So it's still probably going to end up being that. Just because talismans do way more damage than anything, you still get to keep the scepter. Yeah, so it's still like... Basically, any build involves going very far from the starting area of the ranger. That's the main problem with this Ascendancy. That's why I don't think it'll be like the best Ascendancy in the game. But I think it'll be really fun. I think it's new, and it's going to be a new way to play minions, so that's why I'm playing it. They're changing the leech formula again? Sure. But yeah, that's why when you see a summoner, the reason why they're almost always playing Energy Shield, it's one hand because, yes, it gives them more protection against one-shots, and you generally don't get hit as much if you're playing summons. That's part of it. But the main part is recovery. Recovery in Path of Exile 2 is really, really crappy across the board on absolutely everything except leech. But to leech, you have to deal damage. If you don't deal damage yourself, you do not leech, your recovery is bad. And if your recovery is bad, you have to do a different kind of defense. So, yeah, again, that's why the starting point is bad, because you don't have any real recovery. Like, you can kind of stay here and get a whole bunch of companion nodes and have strong companions, but then you're going to have a character with 2k life, no real defenses, and no real recovery. And is that going to work? Not really. It's not really going to work.